Dawood, why your consonants falling? And Dawood's going to say, my wife's giving me boom, boom, boom. But we don't say, you feeling down, bro? No. I observe something's going on. We're concrete people. All this, I feel sad, I feel blue. Solomon was black because he was feeling down. No. If Solomon was feeling down, he would say, my soul is heavy. Because Hebrew was concrete. That abstract way of thinking came from the Greeks. That philosophy, we have a Hebrew, was living in Egypt. He grew up in Egypt, as a Greek. Philo. Philo's book is about, I think it's Josephus' book. Philo has a book, I didn't bring it, but Philo's book is about this thick, and he's an Israelite. And all he did, because he grew up in Egypt, in Alexandria, under the Greek kingdom, he put all our scriptures into philosophy. And you can't do that. You can't put Hebrew on anything. Everything we do is concrete. Amen?
Amen.
So, we just found out that Yeshua says, I am the light. In the beginning was the Word was the light. So, who was in the beginning? Yeshua. What was in the beginning? The Word. The Word was light. The Word, the light, the manure, all these connections from Genesis to Revelations, including the books that they took out, is all for Hebrews. It's all for Hebrews. It's a Hebrew book. And I tell people, you can translate our Bible or our scrolls into any language you want. And it's recorded in the prologue that when you record, we did our best to translate these records into Greek. But when you translate the Hebrew into another tongue, it's not of the same effect. So I did this test, and I wrote these couple things out, and I have brothers read it. So if I say, me and my dog was kicking back, twisting caps, how many understood that meant? Kind of, you with me? Now, if you get a Spanish speaker to come up here and says, me and my dog was kicking back, twisting caps, a Spanish speaker will crack a laugh like, what you doing to your dog? Because even though it's the same words, it don't have the same effect. It's the same thing with the Hebrew. Holy Spirit help me. I'm not going to call them names, but I have family members deep, like Brother Asayah, deep in this Christian church. Seminary, PhDs, all that, wearing a collar. I'm telling you, as long as you got a Greek seminary education, you always going to be out of touch with the Most High. Like right now, we're in December, right? The pagan month of December. Anybody know what Deci means? 10. What month is it on the Roman calendar?
12.
Nothing they do makes sense. But following our culture, tonight we're looking for the new moon, but we're going into our 9th month, we're going into the 10th month. You see how they try to keep up with our culture? The 10th month for us is just coming tonight or tomorrow when we confirm the moon. But they're saying it's the 12th month and you're saying it's the Deci. Straight backwards. You see what happened when Israel fall? The whole world is screwed upside down. Amen?
Amen.
So now let's get Deuteronomy 32 and 8. Google comments coming up. We're going to Deuteronomy 32 and 8. And we're holding that this light of the world is only given to Israel. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I didn't write this stuff. And we can't force. Well, what the elders say, you can't put a circle in a square peg, right? So when we read our scrolls, I can't change what's written. And I'm not. Am I happy I'm Israel? Absolutely, absolutely. But do I hold it over the next man who's not Israel? No, because this is only the grace of Yah. The scripture says the twin boys, Esau and Jacob, did nothing wrong, but already in the womb, it was chosen. So Esau, I know you all seen the brothers bashing Esau. I just put it out there. Esau is not European. Yeah. Esau is not European. Esau, real quick, Esau, when his father said, I've already blessed Jacob, I can't take it back, he's going to be blessed and his brother's going to serve him. Well, Esau, already having an evil spirit putting him in the womb from the father, instead of trying to get back into good graces with his mom and dad, what did Esau do? Esau went and took wives from the same nation that Rebekah and Isaac said, don't touch those women. But Esau, because he got that evil spirit, not because he did something, the Most High put that evil spirit in him. He said, okay, I can't get my blessing back from Jacob, I'm going to marry the Canaanites. Now, if you do the history, the Canaanites are dark as me and you. So if Esau and Jacob are twin brothers, and Josephus records they are alike in every way, except Esau was hairy and Jacob was smooth. So Esau looks just like Jacob, it's just one's hairy and one's smooth. Same thing with me and my brother. Come from the same mom and dad, I could grow a beard within a week. My brother is 4 years my senior, and he's struggling. He's a smooth man, I'm a hairy man. So Esau, Jacob's twin brother, and he married Canaanite wives. How can he be European? But I digress. The point I'm making here is Esau having that evil spirit put in him, started standing around the house like, Dad, you need me to do something. Mom, maybe I can. He said, nah, no, are y'all gonna do it like that? I'm going to take these Canaanite wives. That's the spirit Esau had. Amen? So, and I'm trying not to go off on tangents, but this truth is like fire. When you get this truth, it's like fire. Like, you know, me and my wife was coming back from the islands, seeing a Hebrew in the airport, and I just had to tell them. So, Deuteronomy 32:8. I'm gonna stay on task. Let's get through this.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
So, some people take you, it's about Abraham and Abrahamic faith. This right here said this go past Abraham. When they tell you it's about Abraham and having faith like Abraham, this is before Abraham. This goes back to Adam. So even when Adam was here and all his sons, Most High already had, I'm separating this seed right here to be my people. So when those Christians try to take you, nah, brother, y'all, it's all about, y'all trying to make it about color, you trying to make it all about Israel. It's about having faith. This surpasses Abraham. He already had, there's no changes for us. Let me clarify that. There's no changes for the Most High. Remember I said he was killing us for transgressing, and then he gave us the animal sacrifice? That was a change for us, but y'all already knew that. Yeah. So nothing that we encounter is being re-edited up in heaven. He already knew it. Us waking up, he already knew it. Us being shunned and wearing a coat and y'all being carnal and y'all going back under bondage, he already knew it. So there's no changes for him, it's just changes for us. We're playing catch up. Amen? Amen. So let's take our next one, and we're going to take this from the Apocrypha Sirach 17 and 17, because in the Hebrew culture, everything has to be established by 2 or more witnesses. That's why they kept taking Yeshua to the different judgment seats, because they had to do it by the Hebrew culture. Even though the Israelites, the Jews, tried to wash their hands, Pilate and them still had to follow our culture. So as they took him to this judgment hall, and Pilate was like, I wash my hands of him. So they were taking him, trying to get witnesses against him, because in the Hebrew culture, it says something, everything must be established by 2 or more witnesses. So before you condemn someone to death, these 2 brothers said, yeah, I seen him eating swine. And once they said that, that man's condemned. Amen? Amen. So we're going to get Sirach 17 and 17, or Ecclesiasticus. And this is just another witness that this Bible cover to cover is about Israel. And we're not trying to lock anyone out of heaven. We're not trying. No, this is what was written for us. Let me get the English stuff. The archaic English is terrible. All right, so Rock 17:17 or Ecclesiasticus 17:17 read.
For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people. But Israel is the Lord's portion.
Israel is who?
The Lord's portion.
Isn't that the same thing we read in Deuteronomy 32:8? And they tell you the Apocrypha is wicked, but the Apocrypha is lining up with the King James 66, the so-called canon. And when I did a study on this 66 canon, guess who gave us the so-called canon? The Roman Catholic priests. They got together in the councils and says, this is what we want to use in our churches. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to let someone cover my family reunion and tell me about my history, and no one in the family knows you. All the elders are looking like, yeah, this family started in Nebraska, and everyone's looking like, that's what happened to us. They got our scrolls because there was so much division. It says the Roman Catholics did. These books are going to be read. Anybody caught with any other scrolls in this will be burned. And they gave us the 66 canon. All strangers, non-Hebrews. So when you read our apocryphal books, it's lining up. We have read the same thing in Deuteronomy 32:8. Amen? Amen. Let's get 2 Ezra 6:54. This is the third witness that proves that the light of the world was the world of Israel. Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 54. And before you read, brother, this right here is going to be the nail in the coffin for why they don't want you reading the apocryphal books. This is going to be why they took these books out of circulation right here. 2 Ezra 6 and 54 read.
And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures. Of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen.
So he's saying everybody comes from Adam, but then you notice that last, and the people you have chosen. So yeah, everybody comes from Adam. Then we all brothers in Christ. Okay, let's go. 55.
All this have I spoken before thee, O Elohim, because thou made the world for our sakes.
56.
As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that fallen from a vessel.
This is plain to see why they didn't want this read inside the churches. But guess what, Mishpachah? This exact same verse is repeated by Isaiah. Isaiah says the same thing in a different way. Same thing. It's in the King James. Same thing. If you, I didn't have it written down, but Isaiah says the nations are but a drop in the bucket to you. That's what Isaiah said. So when you Google that, Isaiah said the nations are but a drop in the bucket. But then when you go back up to the beginning of the chapter, he's laying out Israel as a sheep, my beloved. So when he said the nations are a drop in the bucket, he ain't talking about Israel. He just esteemed Israel. And then he gets down to I think it's verse 15. He said the nations are but a drop, but spittle. So the King James so-called canon says the same thing. The light of the world is to the light of Israel. Now that's not for us to take a run and puff ourselves up over the other nations. We're supposed to show the nation that this is how the Most High operate, and when you operate this, He's going to bless you, and you come to us, we're going to bless you because He's blessing us. It's not to be licking my boots and you bow down and think, no, that's wickedness. Wickedness. Think about how much wickedness they did to us. They're so smart. My grandmother is inside your kitchen making your dinner, and you whipping my uncle out back, her son. How smart was you? Because if I have a servant, a maid or butler in my house cooking my children's food, I'm going to make sure he knows you one of us. And hey, sit down too. Now you sit and eat too. Because you can kill my whole house. You understand? So when we do get put back in our rightful standing, it's not going to be whipping nobody and kicking nobody. No. We follow this Torah. God's blessing us, and you're in my house, you're blessed. Amen?
Amen. Amen. Amen.
All right, so now we got this. I'm gonna jump ahead some, because this last part will blow your mind. It blew my mind. So the feast is all about rededicating the temple. Can y'all see? I don't want to rush through this. Y'all see Yeshua is the light, and he's the light to Israel. I have a few more precepts, but if we all together, we move, okay, because when we get to Revelations, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. All right, so here we go. Let me put this back on the screen for you. So, we're all together. Yeshua is the light of the world. He's the light to Israel. And when they rededicated the temple and lit that menorah back up, that was showing signs that Yeshua had not left us. He's going to come back and redeem Israel. Amen?
Amen.
So, now let's jump to the meat and potatoes. So, Yeshua is the light of Israel forever. And we find this written so many times, but I call it's Hebrewisms. It's Hebrewisms. It's slang talk. So if you're not an Israelite, if you're not raised up in the culture, you miss all these Hebrewisms, okay? So let's get Zechariah 4. Let me do it again. Bear with me. Take this down. So we're going to get Zechariah 4, 1 through 3. I'm going to show you how these Hebrewisms are all through the Bible. People were just missing it. And I believe it's because the Most High has a veil over our eyes. And he's been testing and proving us along the way. Each one, Sister Corinne told me that her father, was it your father or grandfather, used to say something about he's been good to the Hebrews or something?
God's been good to Israel.
God's been good to Israel. Each one of us has been being tested through the years to see if you're worthy to remove the veil. Because that's another reason why I started easing up on these pastors and preachers. Because, I'm like, yeah, they're evil. But no, it's just that they're still under the curses. They're under the curse of slumber. There's multiple curses. It's in stages. And the Most High is testing every man's heart. So if you're one of these ones who want to just be puffed up and have people licking your boots, he's only going to give you so much. Because I can't trust you with the whole thing. You learned to choose the people, and now you're taking off, causing havoc. No, so those brothers, you're going to get a little bit. But when you move in righteousness and he see that, he's going to open up more. I can trust him with more. I trust him with more. So that's why the pastors, some of them, they've been in the church 30 years. Mega churches, PhDs. But the Most High sees their heart. They're after the accolades of men. Gospel fest, come to my convention. Y'all ain't in none of that. So that's why it's not that they so evil and want your money, they still blind. So if y'all want to wake them up or sees their heart, maybe they be waking up. So let's get Zechariah 4. Now I want to get to Revelation, so I'm going to pick up some speed. We are 4, and brother, we're going to read Zechariah 4, 1 through 3.
And the angel that talked with me came again, and waked me, as a man that is wakened out of his sleep, and said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick of gold.
A candlestick, right? Read.
With a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps which are upon the top thereof.
Y'all see 9 somewhere? 9's nowhere, right? But I read somewhere they make merchandise of me. They sell everything of Israel for profit. So a 9 menorah is everywhere for money. But it says 7 here, right? Verse 3.
And 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof.
So we have a candlestick with seven sticks, and now we have 2 olive trees. 2 olive trees on side of the menorah, right? So let's jump down. Let's get verses 11 through 14. Now Zechariah, or the angel, is about to explain to Zechariah what you're seeing. You know what? Let's start at verse 10, brother.
For who have despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice, and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel, which those 7, they are the eyes of the Elohim, which run to and fro through the whole earth.
Read.
Then answered I and said unto him, what are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick, and upon the left side thereof?
So he says, what are these 2 olive trees? Explain these 2 olive trees to me. Read.
And I answered again and said unto him, what be these 2 olive branches, which though the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves?
Read.
And he answered me and said, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Elohim.
So he's saying, you still don't understand? You can't see it yet? He's giving them breadcrumbs. And the angel, Zechariah, you don't get it yet? Read.
Then said he, these are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth.
Stand by who?
The Lord of the whole earth.
So who are they standing by?
The Most High.
The 2 olives are the 2 witnesses. And they're standing by who? So you have the candlestick. And you have the 2 olive trees. So he just explained to him, those 2 olive trees are the 2 witnesses. But remember, first he described the candlestick. So now, verse 14 says, those 2 olive trees are standing by who? The Lord of the whole earth. You see why we couldn't come up here with a 9-pronged menorah? The menorah is very sacred to us. It's symbolic, but it represents our Messiah. We're going to get it again. You don't get it, we're going to, let's go to, let me put this back on the screen. We're going to get it again in Revelation 1. Let me go here first. Let me get it up on the screen. We're going to make it plain. Let's go to Revelation 1. And this is about the candlestick, right? So let's get Revelation 1, and we're going to start it at verse 12. Remember what we just went over. He saw 2 olive trees alongside the candlesticks. Then he says those olive trees are 2 witnesses that stands by the Lord of the whole earth. But you got to keep in mind the translators, they use Lord interchangeably. Yahuwah is never coming to this earth. So when we see Lord, we know it's talking about the Son, Yeshua. So the 2 olive trees are standing next to Yeshua. They're like his security, right? So let's get in Revelation 1, and we're going to pick it up at verse 11. No, let's go to verse 10. I'm sorry, verse 10.
I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day.
Real quick, I hate to do this. Where's the Lord's day? How many say Shabbat? Shabbat. A couple months ago, I would have said Shabbat too. What happened was, after Yeshua ascended, some of the elders got together and they said, we're going to honor the day that we seen him, that day that we seen him in the flesh. We're going to dub that Yeshua's day or the Lord's day. So the Lord's day is actually the day that they mark, this is when we all seen him in the flesh. So it's not always a Shabbat. Amen? So read.
I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet.
Read.
Saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, and unto Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks.
He saw what?
7 golden candlesticks.
What did we just learn that golden stick was? The olive tree or on the side of the golden candlestick, right? And then Zechariah said the golden candlestick is the Lord of the whole earth. So this golden, he's seeing Yeshua. Amen, everybody with me? I can't rush through this because this is very important. Everybody's with me. So John was caught up in the spirit, fasting and praying. And that's another way we know about the Shabbat, because we're not supposed to fast on Shabbat. We break bread in fellowship. So that's why we know it wasn't the Most High Shabbat. It was the day that they marked as the day they seen him and confirmed that, yeah, he's that dude. He's risen. So he's seen the 7 kingdom gold sticks. So this is Yeshua. Verse 13.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
Read.
His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Read.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Brother David. So we confirmed that Yochanan is seeing Yeshua, and he's describing him. He described him the same way Danny described him. Now, we all know, you can tan up. You can put that butter on and go lay out a little bit, tan up. But if your feet is burnt like brass, how your face is going to be a European face? I just say it nicely. Doesn't add up. Like Sister was saying, things ain't adding up. So when now we bring this out, and we're dirty little Hebrews, we're slave children, and we say this, oh, it doesn't matter. Well, why? If it doesn't matter, why y'all take so much effort to change all your literature? My wife, she turned me on. I hate it, but she turned me on to the Bible stories. Anybody watch the Bible stories? I can't stand them. But it's a good way to stay fresh. But for me, I catch them lying so much and omitting stuff. So my wife is catching up with the history, but I keep interrupting her, so I have to go out the room. Like, it didn't happen like that. They left that out. So his color and appearance don't matter. But right now, even your own archaeologists are saying there's no way that non-melanated people were in this part of the world. But right now, in some print shop, they're printing white Santa and white Jesus. But his color don't matter. All right, so I digress. So John is seeing the candlesticks. We already confirmed that this candlestick is the Lord of the earth. This is Yeshua, right? And now he tells them, let's go back up. Yeshua says, what you're about to see, I want you to write this in a book and write it to the whole world. Does it say that?
7 churches.
Write it to who?
7 churches.
I'm about to show you the greatest vision a carnal, fleshly man has ever seen. But I only want you to write it to 7 churches. Why did he say the 7 churches? This is what we're about to go over. So let's get Exodus 13. And what you're about to find out that this light, this candlestick, this light has been with Israel since our beginning. This light is only for Israel. Let's get 13, I'm on 21 through 22. Exodus 13, verses 21 through 22. Read.
And the Lord went before them that day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of the cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night, from before the people.
Who are the people here? Israel. Israel is coming out of Egypt. And Yahuwah has given Yeshua for a light. The Messiah has always been with us. He just had different roles. And this road here is lead my people by the way. So now when we come to the Feast of Dedication, we get our menorah, and now we read in John, I'm the light of the world. I'm the light of the world of Israel because I've been with y'all since y'all came out of Egypt. Now he's telling John, I'm about to show you a vision. And once I'm done showing you this, write it to the 7 churches. Well, why not publish it in the whole world? The world that didn't love. Because God so loved the world. Why not tell John, send this throughout the known world at a time? No, I'm about to show you the greatest vision a man has ever. And John was the last of the apostles, I believe, to be martyred. So John is by himself, the last of the Mohicans, right? On an island, Patmos. And Yeshua says, write this vision and send it to 7 churches. Well, Rome, at this time, Rome is the beast. Rome is our new taskmaster. And Rome has taken over the whole world. And it's churches, Roman Catholic churches, and Hebrew churches all over the world. Why not send this vision to everybody? We're going to find out why. So let's go to, I got to put this next slide up, so I want you to see this next slide. Everybody with me so far? I'm going to lose nobody. Everybody with me? So he's telling him, send this vision to the 7 churches. And he says, let me make this big for you. So now Yeshua is about to lay out this vision for John. And he says, send this vision to 7 churches that are in Asia. This is known as Asia Minor. The whole European continent is really known as Asia. But this is Asia Minor. This is modern day Turkey. If you try to match this up, Asia is modern day Turkey, right? So he says, send this to Sardis, Thyatira, Pergamos, Philadelphia, Ephesus, Laodicea, right? Send it. There's churches in Cilicia, they go Pamphylia, they go Syria, they go Pontus and Bithynia. Why not send it to all these churches? Why not send it to all these churches, right? So hopefully we're going to make it plain. So here's another rendering of it to give you a visual. This is Turkey, or this is ancient Asia. And you notice something. There were Cappadocia, Galatia, Bithynia, Thrace, Cilicia. Who's from Cilicia? I'm sorry. It's not up there. I think that's Tarsus. Yeah. Cilicia is where Shaul was born and raised. He's not a European, but we were scattered through the 4 corners. So here's the 7 churches, right? Ran them down, and you see the star around Asia. Send this vision to the people, to the churches in Asia. So I think I want to show you something. Let me back up. Because that word church is another word that they run with. Christ is coming for a church without a spot or wrinkle, right?
Yes.
Don't they hit you with that, brother?
Yes. Yes.
So, Isaiah 49:6. Anybody know that verse? Isaiah 49:6. Let's get it. I'm not going to shortchange you. Isaiah 40. Keep this image in mind. We're going to go back to it. 7 churches. And let's get Isaiah 49:6. And you're going to see how the Most High plays on words all the time. And I call them Hebrewisms, but it's just things that go with people's heads. And you know what? Cody said, if people want to start eating.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time. Running low on time.
All right. All right. Isaiah 49, and we're going to pick up some speed. Isaiah 49:6, read.
And he said, it is a light thing that thou should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
Hallelujah. So
Hallelujah.
these 7 churches, put them back on the screen, and I think you are all with me, so we're just going to run through it. So here's the 7 churches, right? You all have your handout. Seven churches, write the greatest vision of the world to these 7 churches, right? And you know what? I got to do this. I'm sorry. I got to take my time. One thing, I got to do this because they throw you off. These theologians, Gentiles and the Hebrews alike, they hit you with that Greek philosophy. Oh, it's about the church. He's coming for a church. And I want to show you something. And once we read the letters of Josephus, it's not going to take long. So, Colossians. I'm going from memory. Bear with me here. It might be on the handout. So, Christ is coming for a church without a spot or a wrinkle, right? Can you start at verse 13, please?
13. And I bear him record that he have a great zeal for you, and them that are in Laodicea, and them in Hierapolis. Luke, the beloved physician, and Demas greet you. Salute the brethren which are in Laodicea, and Nymphas, and the church which is in his house.
The church is where?
In his house.
How do you have a church in somebody's house? When you do the research on your own, the word church is a pagan word. And a Hebrew or Israelite would never use the word church. The word church ties back into a Germanic, Slavic deity. We the word circus from church. It was Kirkhead and circus. It ties back into a pagan deity. The sun god, his daughter name was Kirkhead or something. So this word church ties into that. When you read this in the Greek word is ecclesia. Ecclesia, if you use the Blue Letter Bible, ecclesia means a gathering, a congregation. So an Israelite, we don't use pagan terms. Even Lord is Baal. I read somewhere he says, "You make my people forget my name for Baal." But the Bible says, "You make my people forget the Lord for Lord." That don't make no sense. But when you put the Hebrew back in there, "You make my people forget Yahuwah for Baal." Now I understand. So we got a church inside a house. No, it was a gathering of Israelites holding on to Yeshua. You with me? All right, I just had to show you that. So now, let's go to the handout. I want to get the visual back on the screen because we're going to go over these 7 churches. Everyone get a handout? And this, again, is Josephus. And Josephus, his history is well recorded. The Romans gave him permission to record the wars. And he recorded it unbiased. He didn't paint the Israelites to be greater than what they were. He didn't paint the Romans to be more evil than what they were. And after he was done writing on his records, the Romans concluded, yeah, this is an accurate description, right? So what you have a handout by Josephus, from Josephus, and this is from the Antiquities of the Jews. So we're going to go over, and I'll read from here, bro. Thank you, Dawood. So this is page 835. The churches are Smyrna, Ephesus, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea, right? So on your first page, page 835, you see the arrow pointing to number 11. It reads, Hyrcanus sent also one of these ambassadors to Dolabella, who was then the prefect of Asia, and desired him to dismiss the Jews from military service. So Dolabella is a governor. He works for Rome, and he's controlling Asia. And Hyrcanus is one of the Maccabees descendants. And now he's high priest. And now we're friends with Rome at this time. We have a friendship with them. Rome said, I got your back. You help us take out all these kingdoms, the Greeks included. We got your back. What you want? So Hyrcanus sends some of his priests to send letters to the governor. He says, to dismiss the Jews for military service. So this confirms there's Jews in Asia. Everybody with me? Everybody with me?
Yes.
Okay. So, and to preserve them to the customs of their forefathers. So that's one, we see that we had Jews in Asia. Flip over, and we're going to read number 12. Everyone sees it? Number 12. I got to run through this for time's sake. We're just verifying that these 7 churches are Israelites. That's all we're about to do right here. So, number 12. When Artaban was praetorianus, on the first day of the month, Leonina, Dolabella, the governor, imperator to the Senate and magistrates, and the people of the Ephesians sends greetings. The people of the Ephesians, right? He says, I'm going to jump down. Alexander, the son of Theodorus, the ambassador of Hyrcanus, the son of Alexander, the high priest and ethnarch of the Jews, appeared before me to show that his countrymen could not go into their armies because they are not allowed to bear arms or to travel on the Shabbat days. So this decree is going to Ephesus. And he's saying, Hyrcanus is told us, and they are friends, they helped us as much as they could, but now he's saying they want to practice the customs of their forefathers, and they can't be in the army anymore because they can't travel on Shabbat days. Let's go down. He says, I do therefore grant them a freedom from going into the army. So this proof, Ephesus, already in Asia, and we have Jews in Ephesus. The 7 churches he wants this vision to go to is the Israelites. Con? Let's go down to number 13. Number 13 is a nail in the coffin. The underlying portion. I have at my tribunal set these Jews who are citizens of Rome. I'm going to jump over, and yet live at Ephesus. The Romans were the first ones to say, hey, if you are with us, you're Roman citizens no matter where you live at. If you are in our provinces, you are Roman, but you are living in the city you live at. So we got Jews, Roman citizens, living at Ephesus. This vision John seen, Yeshua says, sent to my people. That's in line when he says, I'm only sent to the lost sheep of Israel. He told the apostles, go not into, but to the lost sheep of Israel. From the beginning to the end, he's looking for Israel. Let's go to the next one. Go to the next page, page 837. At the top, number 17, you see a tool by it. Church of Sardis, right? We've got Sardis on the screen, Church of Sardis. It reads, Lucius Antonius, the son of Marcus, vice quaestor and vice praetor to the magistrates, to the Senate and people of Sardinians, and the people of the Sardinians, send greeting. Those Jews that are our fellow citizens of Rome came to me. So now we got Sardis and his fellow Jews living in Sardis. They're Israelites living in Sardis. So this church, he's coming for a church without a spot or wrinkle. He's coming for a gathering of Israel that has no spot or wrinkle. How do you make sure you have no spot or wrinkle? Follow the Torah the best you can in captivity. Amen? Amen. So let's pick up some speed. Drop down to number 3, says number 20. On the screen we got Laodicea. The magistrates of the Laodiceans, to Caius Rubulus, drop down, it says, Hyrcanus, the high priest of the Jews, and brought an epistle written concerning their nation, wherein they desired that the Jews may be allowed to observe their Sabbaths. Again, Laodiceans are Israelites. If you read in Apocrypha, I had it written down there, but we don't have time. Maccabees chapter 8 or 15. The Maccabees says, we have found that the Laodiceans are our brothers. They are sons of Abraham. Now, all sons of Abraham ain't brothers because we got Esau. He's Abraham. Ishmaelite is an Abraham. But to put them, to send them the greatest vision of a man, to send them the Laodicean, they're Israel. Amen? Amen. All right, let's pick up some speed. The next one, page 838, number 22. The decree of those of Pergamos, church of Pergamos, right? The underlined part there in black. And since the nation of the Jews and their high priests sent as ambassadors to them, straight over the sun. Okay, so now we got, let's drop down to the next highlighted part. It says, I'm down here towards the paragraph, should do no injury to the Jews, the confederates of the Romans. So now we got the church of Pergamos. He says, listen, y'all can't touch the Jews. They are confederates. They have a treaty with Rome. And you don't want no problem with Rome, so leave the Israelites alone. Amen? The 7 churches are Israel. We can turn to the next page. The next page is page 843, number 4. What else the church we had? The church of Thyatira. I don't have time to show you, but Thyatira became chopped off and became known as